Breaking news. Candace Owens have just claimed that the French government is planning to unalive her. Okay. Welcome back to the Batman podcast. So today I'm not wearing a headphone because I actually forgot last year I bought a microphone. I put it inside my bag and I completely forgot I bought a microphone. And I feel like the audio is much better this time around, right? Compared to my previous video. Give me some feedback, okay? So anyway, 2 days ago, Candace Owens posted on her X account that she received some sources that the French government is trying to bam her, you know, and it has created a lot of shocking reaction on X. And what I feel like is very weird is because this morning when I woke up, all I can see from my X feed or Twitter feed is sorry. All I can see is Candace Owens have gone insane. Candace Owens have gone nuts. It's sad to see her descend into madness. And I was like, what is going on actually? I mean, like, I've seen hundreds of X feeds, one after another. When I scroll, it's all about Candace Owens, Candace Owens, Candace Owens. I mean, like, something very suspicious is going on, okay? If the general public, and by general public, I don't mean like the general people like us, okay? I mean like this is mostly from the big account podcasters, okay, influencers as well. Somebody like Dinesh D'Souza or somebody like Dave Rubin have just commented about, I mean like they're trying to debunk her without really debunking her and stuff like that. So this is really weird. It's starting to feel like a psyop operation to me. It's like they're trying their best to put as much pressure on Candace and they're actually trying to go her mad. I mean, like, remember what they did to Britney Spears? Remember what they did to Michael Jackson, Justin Bieber? You know, all of a sudden they have been under attack by paparazzi and non-stop media attack about them. Negative controversy one after another non-stop. Could it be that this is actually a psyop, psychological operations? Anyway, I'm not saying for a fact that this is a psyop, okay? I'm just suggesting that it could be, okay? So don't come after me. And also, we're gonna cover about the Bridget Macron controversy and Candace Owens' claim that they want to unalive her. And before I started covering about the Macrons, I just want to say that I'm only going to reference what Candace Owens have said. Okay, this is not coming from me. I am in no way trying to suggest that you are a man, Bridget Macron. No way, in no way I am suggesting that, okay? I am just going to reference her work a lot and to some extent Xavier Poussat, okay? So don't come after me, okay? Don't come and sue me. Don't send someone to try to boom me, okay? I'm just a podcaster who is commenting about what is viral right now, okay? So don't come after me, please. Okay, so if you guys don't have any idea about the Macrons and you have no idea about the Becoming Bridget series, you have to watch it, okay? Candace Owens did a very wonderful series, Becoming Bridget, okay? And based on that series, basically what she was suggesting is that Bridget Macron was actually Jean-Michel Tracnot, which is what they are claiming right now as Bridget Macron's brother. Okay, but the theory that Candace Owens suggests is that Jean-Michel Tragno is actually Bridget Macron. She has transitioned from a man to a woman and changed her identity. Okay, again, this is what she is saying, not what I'm saying. Don't come after me, Macrons. But anyway, you have to watch her series if you want to understand better, but I presume that most of you are already aware about the series. Okay, so anyway, just to give a brief description is Jean-Michel was born in February 11, 1945 in Amiens, France, to the powerful Trogno chocolate dynasty. Jean-Michel was the golden boy, military sergeant in Germany, engineering school whiz, and family heir. Okay, then poof, he vanishes from French records around 1965 until 1968, right as Bridget emerges with zero independent photos or witnesses before age 30. Owens reveals Jean-Michel's military file is sealed by the French government, and immigration records show a John M. Trogno entering the US in 1960s. The exact decade Bridget claims she visited but can't prove. This isn't coincidence, it's extraction. Shipped to California under CIA cover, Jean-Michel became Subject 20938 MK Ultra Sub-Project 119. Dr. Jolly West's behavioral engineering lab at Stanford funded to shatter minds with LSD, electroshock, hypnosis, and trauma to create dissociative alters. West, the CIA's top shrink who treated Jack Ruby and Sirhan, specialized in gender-bending experiment to produce programmable spies, men fractured into female personas ready for deep cover ops. Owens uncovers scrap Stanford archive, mismatched subject numbers, erased identities, incomplete sequences, all pointing to Trogno as the pivot. Prisoner 2093 logs describe a French military asset tested for behavioral plasticity, vanishing post 68 as Bridget activates in France. Okay, so this is basically part of the Becoming Bridget series. I asked Rod to summarize the conspiracy regarding Jean-Michel and how she claims that Jean-Michel is the Bridget Macron. So basically this is the what we call the summary of it. Okay, and then I asked Croc, how about the MK Ultra program? I can't remember, but she seems to indicate it with connect it, actually what I mean with one world government. Okay, and this is Croc's response. Okay, MK Ultra is the smoking gun for the one world government agenda. A CIA mind control factory churning out programmable puppets like Emmanuel Macron to enforce globalist tyranny, and Candace Owens exposed it all in her Becoming Bridget series. MK Ultra, the CIA's real 1950s to 1970s program of drugs, hypnosis, and torture to create Manchurian candidate, never ended, is the blueprint for programming world leaders into one world government and forces. Owens hammered this in her August 2025 post. There is absolutely zero reason to believe the MK Ultra program ever stopped. The insane people are ruling over us. The entire trans movement is evidence of that. Again, this is what Candace Owens is claiming, not me. Okay, shooters, trans agendas, elite weirdos, all MK Ultra fruits designed to traumatize societies into surrendering sovereignty for safety and control. Enter Macron. Owens straight up called him a MK Ultra product in her series, groomed from use by Rothschild globalists and CIA handlers to become France's programmable president. Now this is true. Okay, Emmanuel Macron, he did work with the Rothschild, and it was the Rothschild that brought him up into the world of the elites and so on. Okay, At one point, Emmanuel Macron, I could be wrong. Okay, I need to double check. But if I'm not mistaken, he works at a hedge fund. Or if it's not at a hedge fund, it's asset management or something like that. Okay. He was brought in by Rothschild to work at this firm. Okay. And people were the people who work at the firm, they were finding Macron to be really weird because he seems to not know anything about finance. This is again their testimony, not mine. Okay, don't come after me. So it's like what Candace is suggesting here is like it's Midas touch. Okay, just put in whoever that is unqualified to a company, and then suddenly they will rose up the ranks. Okay, even though they're not qualified to be there to begin with. Like for example, I can give another example. Barry Weiss. Okay, this girl who is a J-ish girl, she had a YouTube channel, and her YouTube channel was, I don't know, averaging like 5,000 views per video. I mean, like, she's not a major podcaster. Okay, but after a while she sold her podcast company to a company called Paramount Skydance. Bought Barry Boy's company to the tune of $150 million. I mean, like, that doesn't even make sense at all. Okay, a YouTube video with only 5,000 views on average. This is just my estimate. I forgot how many views she was getting prior to the purchase, but it was a small YouTube channel. Okay, I mean, like, it doesn't make sense that somebody would be paying her $150 million for such a small YouTube account, right? So this is what Candace is suggesting. Midas touch. People who do not deserve to get into a position of power were being put in there, were being paid enormous amount of money. Okay, it is no longer a meritocracy. Okay, it's like, what do we call this? I don't know, elite domination, I guess we can term it that. And then programmable president, and as Candace was suggesting, that Bridget Macron was actually John Trucknow, and there was records of John Trucknow volunteering to this MK Ultra program. Okay, so basically what she's trying to connect here with the One World Group government agenda is that the Bridget Macron a la John Trucknow is now Emmanuel Macron's handlers, and he is there to supervise Emmanuel Macron. We also need to remember that Emmanuel Macron was selected as WEF Young Global Leader. I mean, like, WEF Young Global Leader has always been placing some of the most craziest leader ever. Okay, I mean, like, we're talking about somebody like, who is that French Canadian president, Justin Trudeau, and Angela Merkel. Okay, these people who would end up flooding their countries. Open borders. Okay, open borders here he mentioned. And also Emmanuel Macron pushes for digital IDs, and EU superstate consolidation, eroding nations of the one world government hive mind. Bridget, the MK Ultra trans handler born John Marshall Trucknow, instead installed to blackmail and control him via identity fraud and incest ops, all to keep him on the One World government script. Owens linked it to Frankist cults undermining civilization, with Macron as the brainwash enforcer. Okay, again, this is what Candace is saying. Don't come after me. Okay, based on the Becoming Bridget series, Candace actually tried to indicate that Bridget Macron, before he transitioned into a woman, was actually Jean-Michel Trucknow's father. That is too far-fetched, okay, but what she's suggesting is not totally unfounded. That's just my opinion, not a fact. Also, I am going to share with you guys this X or Twitter post from this account called Project Constitution. Shout out to him, by the way. And he shared this Instagram post by Candace Owens, okay? So I am going to play the video, and as per usual, I will provide my commentary later, okay? Oh, I also forgot to mention that she did suggest, because she said she received these sources which she wants to protect, okay? I mean, like, people are saying, why aren't you showing your sources and so on? So they are saying she's lying because she's not showing her sources. I mean, like, not necessarily, because it's common practice in the world of journalism to protect their sources, especially in a case like this, because she is claiming that French Foreign Legionnaires, a military unit made up of multiple nations, were involved in Charlie's assassination. I feel like that it is urgent that I share the following information with the public. So whoever that leaked these sources, if Candace is being truthful, I mean, like, if Candace is being truthful, then he or she must be in danger, right? So it's only natural for Candace to want to protect the identity of this person who supposedly leaked this information, right? So it doesn't necessarily means that she was not being truthful or she was making things up. Anyway, she did also mention that Emmanuel Macron did ask President Trump to call her and then for her to stop the Becoming Bridget series, Bridget Macron investigation. At the time she agreed, but she found it weird, and it is weird, when the President of the United States have to request her to stop doing that investigation. I mean, like, I thought America has freedom of speech, but I guess not, okay? But to Trump's credit, he did not order her to stop, okay? So I'm not saying that Trump is trying to curtail Candace Owens' freedom of speech, right? Not at all, okay? Bridget Trogno hails from a family of generational chocolatiers from Amiens, a bakery that has been running since the 1880s. We received a tip that the story was impossible. The person claimed, came under him. This is interesting. We received a tip that story was impossible. The person claimed and presented solid historical evidence that Amiens came under heavy bombardment during World War II, that the Nazis had occupied Amiens, and that the original chocolatiers could not have kept their doors open selling macaroons during this time. Maybe we can double check this. Maybe we can check this. Was Amiens heavily being bombed during World War II? Interesting. bombed multiple times by German forces during World War II, though it was not among the most systematically devastated French cities. Okay. May to June, Battle of France, blah blah blah. Approximately 30 to 35% of the city's buildings were destroyed or heavily damaged, mostly from the 1940 and 1944 bombings. The area around the cathedral miraculously escaped total destruction. The roof, the working. Blah, blah, blah. How about factories? Interesting. This did have several factories and workshops that were considered legitimate military targets by both the Luftwaffe, I don't know how to pronounce that, and the Allies, and some were hit by German bombs. The most important industrial strategic target in and around Amiens that were bombed or attacked by the Germans. How about chocolate factories? Oh, well, deliberate. I thought no chocolate factories in Amiens were present. But did any of these factories survive? How about Macron's family's factory? Well, at least according to Grog, it could have survived, okay? Survived the German bombing. So as of right now, we're gonna have to wait for her sources, but hypothetically, okay, let us just assume that this is right, okay? We then came across documentation which revealed that after World War II, a family in Bamberg, Germany with the last name Trockner was transported to Amiens as refugees. René Trockner was the name of those individuals. Well, I can't see anything from here, but oh yeah, this is Trockner. This is Trockner. But we can't see much from here, but I'm assuming that this is probably legit. I had begun to wonder if it were possible that actually Brigitte lineage was German. As we know, as Americans, after World War II, the CIA began Operation Paperclip, where they gave new identifications to Nazi scientists and inserted them into our government. Therefore, it was at the very least a compelling theory that Bridget's family could have actually been Nazi scientists. And that was the big state secret was protecting. Could it be? Could it be? That is a great question. It was just a theory that I was working on. My main question: what happened to René Trockner of Amiens? Yep, what happened to René Trockner of Amiens? Who was René Trockner in Bamberg, Germany, and what did he do? Can we prove that René is related to Brigitte? Fair questions. It's all the more compelling, of course, that this would combine the MK Ultra Stanford University angle that we had been prodding. I was just reading about the MK Ultra program linking to Jean-Michel Trogneux, which, according to Candace, has transitioned into a woman and later become Bridget Macron. Okay, and don't forget, in Bridget's lawsuit against me, she has mentioned MK Ultra a jaw-dropping 18 times. Interesting, very interesting. It was a shocking overreaction to me, having merely mentioned that her alleged birthday also happens to be the day the MK Ultra program was born. For those of you who do not know, the precursor to the MK Ultra was a Nazi program known as Project Monarch. To this day, our government, which loves condemning everyone as a Nazi, scrambles and lies to protect and hide the fact that this Nazi program existed. Why? Did we bring its authors over during Operation Paperclip? Of course they do. Of note, Project Monarch was a government program which abused children, as those of you who are in my book club per author Jeffrey Masson, who was the assistant director to Sigmund Freud's archive and was slated to be the next director. Sigmund Freud and his abusive associates in Vienna, Berlin and Paris had acknowledged that this trauma was a way to manufacture and control a future psychopath. I will spare you the details, but suffice it to say that parents were intentionally harming their own children, and it was happening a lot across Vienna and Paris in particular. This is a part of history that has been intentionally buried. I strongly advise everyone to read The Assault on Truth for further context. Now, remember that kid who shot Donald Trump? What was his name? Thomas Crook. Do you guys remember that? No. You guys probably don't remember, but I do remember reading that somewhere. I forgot where I read it. I should have saved it, but I do remember reading that his parents were working with the CIA, and specifically working in the psychological department of the CIA. I could be wrong, okay? Don't come too hard after me if I'm wrong. So interesting that she's saying here that parents were intentionally harming their own children. That is to assume that it is their own children, right? I mean, like, they could have raised an adopted child. Anyway, back to our Bridget narrative. After raising this interesting point regarding Bridget's family, chocolate business publicly, I then received another tip, not treat. Okay, so this is the smoking gun, the precursor of the Irgun, IRGUN, which in itself is a precursor to the Mossad. Interesting. I have information about this. As you know, Bridget Macron was allegedly born Bridget Marie Claude Trogneux in Amiens, France. The family is the owners of the 5th-generation chocolatier Trogneux. Now, you rightfully ask why the factory of Trogneux, and it was a huge chocolate factory. How come it survived? Well, I can tell it was a little thing called the Judenrat. Judenrat. We need to Google this. Judenrat. Am I spelling it correctly? Judenrat. Judenrat. Way to serve as me to enforce the occupation forces' anti-Jewish regulations and laws in Western and central areas of Poland, and had no authority of their own. Ideally, a local Judenrat was to include rabbis and other influential people of the local Jewish community. to serve as a means to enforce the occupation forces' anti-Jewish regulation and laws in the western and central areas of Poland, and had no authority of their own. Ideally, a local Judenrat was to include rabbis. And what does this mean? Serve as a means to enforce the occupation forces' anti-Jewish regulation. Interesting. This story was huge in Israel. They never could keep it. You leak. Back in the 50s, Ben Gurion was involved there. I think I need to pay attention to these children right things. Probably I will cover it in my next video. Jabotinsky Googled that. Aharonson with the Rothschild. Ooh. Smoking gun. I probably have to cover this in the next video. This is all verifiable. Long story short, they got them immunity, and later Beta first and later the Mossad. And Levi Eshkol Yitzhak Shamir used Bridget as a way to spy on the French president. Just Google Mirage and Israeli planes during a boycott by Charles de Gaulle just before the 1967 war. Then check how Mossad agents got the plans for these jet fighters. I would like to be clear again that I have not confirmed that tape, but Bridget having a connection to Israel somehow would make sense given the protection he is afforded and the extraordinary lengths taken to guard something so obvious like a true gender. They seem willing to kill over this secret, which signifies to me that her true lineage is from a powerful family. Now, I do need to mention, okay, I mean, like, this is just a conspiracy, not being proved as a fact, okay. There has been rumors out there that saying that the Macrons were responsible for the death of one journalist. Her name was Isabella. What was her name? One second. Oh no, it's okay. Isabella something, and I need to Google it. Who was the journalist rumored to be unalived by Macron? Isabella Ferreira. And also there was one French billionaire. Was the journalist? Was the billionaire? Olivier Dassault. Okay, so why it is quite suspicious. Again, suspicious, not a fact. Okay, why it was suspicious is because it was during that time Macron was campaigning for his re-election. Okay, and this guy was challenging him. Okay, challenging his policies and so on. So they were trying to suggest that probably he was unalive because of that. And also the journalist supposedly she has evidence of Bridget Macron's background. Okay, so she becomes too much of a danger and she was assassinated as per what people have been suggesting, not me. Okay, Israel is the only nation that I feel has the pull to demand that Trump call me. It is also the nation that would have had Sergio Gore call me and Charlie Kirk. What I am utterly confounded by is the unnecessary deceit. If Trump had simply called me and said Bridget is a state asset and we need to protect that information at this time as a matter of national security, I would have done it. Instead, I was told that Macron's feelings were hurt and that he didn't want to negotiate an end to the Ukraine war because his wife was upset. I guess governments are so accustomed to dealing in deceit and lies and deaths that the option of just asking someone to do something and being honest with them as to why just never even crosses their mind. The government factory Setting seems to be demand, control, gaslight, and kill. Well, kinda true. Anyway, I wanted to share all of that information publicly because with the French and Israeli assassination information which I shared with the federal government today, I am realizing that the story of Bridget Macron, which I stumbled upon quite innocently, is about a lot more than trans woman who groomed Emmanuel Macron. And I wonder if things would have been different if Charlie had shared with the public who exactly he thought was going to kill him in the 24 hours leading up to his death. Oh yeah, I think I had just scrolled one X feed that was talking about this. I need to pay attention to that. He expressed this to multiple people in his inner circle, but he didn't inform the public. I wish so badly he had told me directly, okay? Again, presuming that this is true, okay, isn't that, I mean, like, it's such a bombshell. I don't even know how to react to that. And isn't it weird how everybody is so like, she is going nuts, she is going crazy? What is going on? Extremely weird, okay? And as you guys know, the theme of this channel is about the one world government, okay? And I'm trying my best to stop it from ever happening, okay? And why I love Candace and I'm such a big supporter of her is because among the biggest podcasters out there, I mean, I'm talking about Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and so on, she is the only one that has consistently talked against the one world government, okay? Indirectly, whether directly or indirectly, okay? By debunking this stuff, we are fighting back, okay? So I'm always gonna have Candace's back. And Candace Owens, if you are watching this, okay, they are trying their best to make you go crazy, okay? They are trying their best to smear your name, okay? You know, you cross the line when you go against the Jays, okay? You know what I mean by the Jays, okay? And this is how they punish you, okay? They're going to make you go crazy like Britney Spears. Be prepared because maybe there's going to be a conservatorship that is only in California, right? In Tennessee, I guess they call it legal guardianship or something like that. They're gonna put you into a guardianship. Wait, is the guardianship law same as conservatorship? If it's the same, they're going to put you into a guardianship, okay? So you better be prepared, okay? My suggestion to you is it wouldn't hurt if you leave the country for a while. Bring your family as well. And this is not the time for you to crumble and be weak. You need to be strong and don't give up. And also, do not entertain them at all, okay? You can debunk them on their shows, okay? But do not entertain them, okay? This is the moment where you need to approach it with mental clarity, okay? So stay strong. We are all behind you. You are the number one global podcaster for a reason. Because nobody believes in the Zionists anymore, okay? Well, I guess there are some, like Officer Tatum, Dave Rubin, can't stand them. But you get the point. I mean, like, what is the top podcaster in the world right now? You, Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan. MCNBC, CNN rating has been like, what? I'm presuming, I could be wrong, but I'm presuming that their ratings, their viewership is much lower than your viewership and Tucker Carlson and so on. Because of what? People no longer trust them. So if we continue to fight, they are going to lose. And I don't know whether you know this or not, but right now you are the central figure, okay? You're like the warrior. You're probably the only one that matters right now. You and Tucker Carlson, okay? But I feel like you play an even bigger role, okay? And they hate you for that, okay? So don't ever give up. We all need you to continue fighting, okay? Wish you all the best. Pray for your safety. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, I talk a lot about global conspiracy theories, economic policies, politics, and so on. If you like this type of content, kindly subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, kindly press the like button and also kindly leave some comments. Until we see next time, bye bye.